Hi there! Today I'm excited to share this Sweet Spring Romance pendant project with you. For the best results, use Primo or Souffle for the bases and Sculpey 3 for the transfers. Let's get started! Your Primo clay should be conditioned and rolled out to a level 3 or a medium thickness. Using a paper template, cut around your shape. I'm using one of the Do Anything tools from Create Along. Remove excess clay and bake. For puffy pendants, I'm using a conditioned ball of clay and spreading it out over my baked piece. You could use liquid clay or Genesis if your clay isn't sticking well. Using an acrylic block helps even out the layer of clay, and you may need to add clay so that you can cover your whole piece. Next, lay your piece onto a thin sheet of clay and cut around it. We'll use this sheet of clay as the final cover. Then, using a piece of plastic, I'm pulling the clay towards the edges. This technique is handy for those times you don't have a cutter in the size or shape you need. This allows you to make your own shape and add clay to it. You can experiment with pendant shapes by just taking a piece of paper, folding it in half, and just cutting simple shapes. You might be surprised with how many unique shapes you can come up with. Smooth the edges with your fingers, and when you're happy with it, bake and allow to cool. Next, I printed the images on magic transfer paper using a laser printer and images from my website, tjsart.com. I placed the printed images face down, burnished them, and then waited a few minutes before adding water to dissolve the paper. Now I'm removing the majority of the paper. Using a little Genesis Heat Set Medium, I'll cover my pendant base to attach the transfer. You'll want to cover the surface and the sides of your pendant. Avoid trapping air underneath your transfer by laying it down smoothly from one edge, then the middle, and to the furthest edge. Trying to make sure there's no air bubbles underneath the transfer. And you want to try to wrap it around the edge. Just pressing as you go. You just want to use a light touch so that you don't smear the transferred image. Then you can start to peel away by pulling the clay to the back side of the pendant. It easily rips because it's so thin. Okay, for this pendant, I had just put the printable on, transferred it. Now I want to decorate these little edges here. So I'm using Souffle, and I have rolled it out onto a level 7 on my pasta machine, so it's pretty thin. And I am going to use a rubber stamp. I'm going to spray it with water and run it through my pasta machine and come back with a texture. Okay, this is the pattern after I rolled it through my pasta machine. I'm just going to take these edges off. And use some Genesis Heat Set Medium. You can use a paintbrush if you don't want to put your fingers in here. I'm just going to get it covered. I'm going to try not to be messy with it. I'll wipe off any that I get on the printable just because I don't want it to be shiny once it bakes. And then I will take my little piece, going to cut it in half. Like so. I'm just going to fit it on here. And I just want it to be level with the other printed piece that's there. I'm going to go ahead and do both sides. Just trying to get it even. And then wrap it around the edges. Like this. And then using my knife, my blade, I'm going to flip it over and just cut off the excess clay that we don't need. Sometimes you can just pull the clay and it will break along the edge like this. And then you can go back with your blade and clean it up. Now we'll bake this and come back and put the back on and then put a pendant on here. For the back, I am going to use my butterfly vine stamp. And this is rolled out on a level 3 on my pasta machine. And I'm gonna run it through on a level 2 and I'll be right back. So this is what that looks like. And when my piece finishes baking and cools off a little, I will put this on the back. Okay, here's my piece out of the oven. I think it's fine. And I will cover the back. Okay, so maybe you noticed I have a little bit of a crack right here, so it will make the back uneven. But if you have this problem when you're doing your pendant, what you can do is just fill that little crack. It's not really a crack, it's where the clay was uneven, and then I'm just going to grab a little bit more clay and put it here, and I will just even this out like so. And you can also use, if you have a acrylic block, just press it down. Then you can just use your fingers to smooth over that spot. And as you can see, it fixes it pretty well. And I'm just going to go around the edge again and make sure that I have all that off. Just make sure that it's smooth. Like that. I think that's pretty good. And then I'm going to cover the back with more of the Genesis. Go right up to the edge. Like so. And then I will look at my pattern and see how I want to put this on. And I don't know if you can tell or not, but I can tell by looking at it that it's going to be pretty tight. It might not be exactly wide enough for my pendant. So I'll show you how to get around that. I'm just going to cut off these edges so I'm not fighting with them. So as you can tell, it's barely going to fit on the back side by the width. So I am just going to gently pull it and stretch it like so. And of course I won't need all of this, so I'm going to cut this sheet down a little bit. Okay, I think we are good. Then I'm just going to start at one end and start patting it down. Again, using a gentle pressure so I don't mess up the pattern. But I want to try to make sure that there's no air bubbles back there. And go around the edges. And then I'm just going to tear it on the edge. Like so. And then I will go back with my blade and go just around the edge to clean that up. It's a little rougher over the areas that I just added. But that's okay. Just I'm going to try to make it as beautiful as you can, and then smooth out the sides. Blend it in together because you want it to look nice. Okay, now we'll put this in the oven and let it bake, and then we'll come back and do a bail on the top. Okay, so this is souffle. I ran it through my pasta machine at a level 1. And remember the piece of the butterfly sheet that we had that was left over? I am going to experiment here on camera. Hopefully this works out. I'm just going to pat it down there like so. Then I'm going to use a piece of plastic to cover. Try to get any wrinkles out. And then I'm going to use this, I got this cutter from Crate-A-Long. They sent me a couple of them, and this is a smaller oval. And I'm just going to put it on there. Then using my acrylic block, I'm going to press down. Hopefully that didn't take the pattern completely away. Looks like it took most of it away. It looks like the center part didn't cut all the way through because of the plastic, but that is okay. I'm just going to pull it a little bit to elongate it a little bit, like so. And then I'm going to wrap it around my knitting needle. Okay, my piece has cooled off, and I'm just going to look and see if I even like this, the way that it looks. And I'm not crazy about the way that it looks, so I'm going to try a few things. So first of all, I'm going to clean up these edges, like so. And I'm also going to cut out this part in the middle completely. That. You can just smooth the edges. Overlap this pendant. Oh, I think that looks kind of neat. So then what we'll do, let me put this back in here so that the shape will stay when I put it in and bake it. And I'm just going to stretch this out a little bit. Yeah, I think that'll work. So now I'll get my Genesis again and put some on the back, and put some, instead of putting it on the front, I'm actually going to put it on the back side of this, here and here. Okay, and then I'm just going to place it on the back and bring it over to the front. Put my little piece in here, and then I'll bake this, and I'll be right back. Okay, the piece is baked, and I've added my Buna cord, and this is my finished pendant. You could use a different cord to complete your necklace. Let me know if you have any questions. You can contact me through my website, tjsart.com. I look forward to seeing what you create using this pendant technique. Thank you for watching.